Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you with a new tutorial. I'd like to continue our discussion about improvisation on the ukulele. This time we're going to switch over to a major key. We were talking about the A minor blues, the 12-bar blues in A minor. This time I'd like to talk about an actual song, and this is This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, very famous folk tune, and we're going to do it in C. So I guess talking about the song is probably important first, and then we're going to talk about the scale, the C major pentatonic scale, which I want to show you today. And we might hit on some other topics, but I'll try to keep it short and focus mostly on the C major pentatonic scale. All right, the song. Everyone knows it. We're going to start with the chord F. This land is your land. This land is my land. It's a C. From California. It's a G7. New York Island. That's a C. And then a lot of people put a C7 right there, going back to F. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream wall. That's C. And A minor, oftentimes people do. This land is made as G7 for you and me. So without narrating the chords, let me just play through it. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land is made for you and me. So that's the famous tune that everyone knows, This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie. And a lot of you out there in ukulele groups probably play this. I know we at Midcoast Ukes, we played this for many years too. It's part of our repertoire. And so it's in the key of C. It uses C chords and F chords and G7 chords, and then a little smattering of maybe a C7 and an A minor once in a while, but mostly C, F, and G7. And so knowing that it's in the key of C, that gives us a great scale that we can use to jam on top of this. And the C major pentatonic scale is that scale. It goes like this. It's very, very in that folk kind of tradition, that sound. You hear it a lot in Stephen Foster's music. You hear it a lot in Woody Guthrie's music. You hear it in very simple melodies like My Girl. You hear it in stuff like You Are My Sunshine. It's a really folksy, simple, happy kind of sound. So the notes are C open, D at the second fret of your C string, E open, G at the third fret of your E string, A open, and C at the third fret of your A string. C, D, E, G, A, C. For those of you keeping score at home, that's the root, the second, the third, the fifth, the sixth, and once again the root or the octave. So it doesn't have a couple of notes that the major scale has. The major scale is a 7-note scale. Pentatonics are 5-note scales. What it lacks is the 4th note of the major scale, F, and the 7th note of the major scale, B. We're just leaving those out. Those are good notes, and they will fit the chords of This Land Is Your Land, but just to simplify things, if this is too much for you to go to do a full-fledged 7-note major scale, well, major pentatonic is a little more accessible. One of the reasons, besides that it has fewer notes and it's easy to finger, is that it's a very simple kind of sound, and there isn't a bad note in the bunch. You really can't hit a note from the C major pentatonic scale that clashes too terribly with anything in the key of C. So for instance, on the C chord, the whole scale works. Every note is fair game. Some might be a little stronger than others, especially the notes that are in the chords, as we've discussed in previous video, chord tones. But by and large, that scale is a winner. It has no bad notes in it. Really easy to be like a kid, you know, just to play around and improvise and not worry so much about hitting bad notes or wrong notes, whatever that means. There actually is no such thing as a wrong note, but you might have notes that you like the sound of better than others over certain chords. And so C major pentatonic is a great vehicle for that, for being very free in improvising. Now there are other places to play it. That was one place. You could play it up here. So I'm using my G string and playing the 2nd fret A, the 5th fret C, I'm playing the 2nd fret D on my C string, 4th fret E, etc. And then 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. Now that's really good to know because you can kind of connect that with the first one we talked about and extend your range a little bit, go a little higher up on your uke. Plus, some of the notes that before you were doing as open strings, now you're doing them as fretted notes. Fretted notes have an advantage in that you can vibrato them, you can slide them into them or away from them, etc. You can bend them. So open strings have their advantages. They have a lot of sustain. They make the instrument resonate in a very nice way, but fretted notes have their advantages too. So sometimes playing the same notes in other places on your uke can be a nice thing. So if you're asking yourself at this point, well, great, he's talked an awful long time here, but what do I actually practice? What should I work on personally to get good at improvising with the C major pentatonic scale? First, just learn to play the scale as simple quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I ascended through the scale. I descended without stopping, without repeating any notes, and I'm just doing this endless loop, and I suggest you do that. Quarter notes are those kind of notes that last for one beat, so there's one note for every tap of the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the same for other positions of the scale. I will leave a link down below, and you can get to my Patreon, and you'll see all the C major pentatonic scales on the entire instrument written out, mapped out for you. I'll probably do something similar for chord tones too. I'll show you how to play all the notes of a C chord as an arpeggio, an F chord, a G7 chord, just so you have a roadmap for those. But for those of you that don't want to get into all of that, you just want to start simple. Start with that C major pentatonic scale and learn to do it with a nice steady beat. And if you can, endlessly loop it. Now you can hit the highest note of the scale and stop. And then repeat that highest note and go back. That's an okay way to do it, to actually repeat that top note. But endless loops are a nice way to practice scales too. And you can get many, many minutes and even hours logged in with that scale, and you'll get good at it. It's just really spending time at it and learning to do it so it has a good, clear sound. And you can play it somewhat musically. You can add a little bit of expression to it, and you can try to make the notes sound musical as opposed to clunky and noisy and kind of herky-jerky. You want it to be smooth. So you can express yourself more easily and speak more clearly with this scale. Alright, so once you get into the first position and then that second position, there's a third position and a fourth position, and you can really make the whole ukulele neck be a C major pentatonic scale. But we're not going to go that far today. So what did we learn? We learned This Land Is Your Land. Great tune, and we're doing it in C. And to improvise on top of that, you can use the C major pentatonic scale. Very folksy, very Stephen Fostery, very early Americana-ish. And then you can get up the neck and start learning other positions. Even higher. And the more positions you know of a scale, the better. The more free you can be in improvising, as I just was there. I was using a lot more range and a lot more possibilities with slides and pull-offs and things like that. So yeah, get down to business and practice your C major pentatonic scale. Learn this land is your land, and you'll be glad you did. All right, ukulele people, I will make this available through links down below that you can go directly and get this information. Please subscribe, be sure to like, and click that notify bell. I will catch you later. Bye-bye.